Right.
What difference it makes, right?
It does.
Okay, so let's start with you guys. What do you know about the teaching? Carolyn?
Well, the first thing you said that, just like that, was a Greg, quote from whatever, but you always say, inlet and outlet. So, I am an inlet and an outlet of God, Mom. One thing that I've recognized about the teaching is that the more aware I am of the God within me, the more I am God without. God, on the outside.
That's nice. Thank you. Anybody else?
Y'all better talk, because I get up and do a dance.
Well, my favorite is always God in me, as me is me. That's what,
Okay.
to me, that's what it's all about.
I'm from the Universal Foundation for Better Living background,
Okay.
and they have a saying, God is, and that's what helps me. I am because God is,
That's beautiful.
and that helps me through my downs.
That's very beautiful. Simple. Very beautiful. Anyone else?
The universe loves gratitude.
Yeah, of course.
We are what we think.
Ah. That's very good too.
We are what we say. And that's it.
Yeah, okay, I'm with you. Very good. Got something for me?
There's the power of good, and we can use it to change our lives.
That's beautiful too.
What was that?
There's a power of good, and we can use it to change our lives.
So that comes from Ernest Holmes, right? It's coming from Olivia right now. Correct? Okay, he actually said there's power for good in the universe, greater than you, of which you are a part, and you can use it. So we'll break that statement down from Ernest Holmes. There's power for good in the universe, greater than you, of which you are a part, and you can use it. So we're again coming back to that idea of omnipresence. That's such a beautiful thought, and it's an important concept, because if you get that, you really have come a long way in your spiritual maturation. If you can understand or even attempt to let your mind go and contemplate the word omnipresence, you're halfway there. You're probably 3/4 of the way there. If not, you're all the way there. Because if you can understand that this power is everywhere present, then you naturally come to all of our little sayings. There's not a spot where. And see, that one idea defeats all your arguments. The Course in Miracles would suggest it brings you home. It will always do that for you if you can come to the place if you realize omnipresence. You look at nothing ever but God. You're always looking at God. In the best of moments and the worst of moments. See, I saw this kid leaving this morning. I was tripping because he's leaving. I thought I never had a chance to even see what we're about. That's God too.
Oh.
I cannot control God. There's power for good greater than the universe, of which I am a part. I am not the totality of it. We live in the world of effects, and people are tripping all over the place. You know what I mean by tripping, right?
Sure.
That's my generation speaking. It's like Carolyn says something and I will misinterpret it probably, and then I'll be tripping about something that Carolyn has said. She probably doesn't even mean anything. It's just I'm tripping about it. Or you're sitting there and you're misunderstanding somebody, or you're understanding somebody, you're going to pick up, you're going to leave, you're going to go where you're going to go. You're in a story. I can't fix that. If you stay long enough and you engage in a conversation with us, we probably can come together and figure it out. But if you're very quick, like most of us are quick with our reactions and our thoughts, you're gone. And the thing is, when you're gone, it's okay to go wherever you go, right? The thing is that generally speaking, when people take up their bed and run, they're leaving with the same mattress they've been sleeping on for the past God knows.
Yeah.
Full of stuff.
Yeah.
You stick and you stay and you grow where you're planted, there's a chance.
What's that? You stick and you stay. A what?
And you grow where you are planted, there is a chance for new thought to come in. We are in the business in this teaching of trading in the lesser idea for the greater. I promise you, each and every day, things come up for you. It sure as hell seems like they're happening to you, though. They're really not happening to you. You're a truth student. Again, a truth student's a person who thinks about, honors, remembers, and celebrates the what? The truth. And yet, we're human beings and we get into our stories routinely often, way too often, but we get into them.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody done me wrong, this is that, this, and we spin. We spin and we spin and we spin. So, you could go to one extreme and say, oh my God, this is just too tall of an order. We're attempting to grow a spiritual community. We're attempting to build a life that makes a difference. We're trying to show up and be something in the world, and we're trying to create a center that means something that's authentic and real and not, it's a big order. It's a big order just to do it for yourself. Because each one of us have got a ton of stuff. Ground zero is always going to be where? Yeah, with our own spin. So, we can't really control other people, and all we can ever do is know that they, whoever they are in the perfect place at the perfect time. We can always reach out to people. Every time you send an invitation, every time Carolyn places a call to Olivia, or I do, or there's an invite, there's a new person we reach out to, you're just giving them a way back. And to the extent they do that and they develop a habit of coming here, then they will get nurtured. And in the end, it's their job to do for themselves, but we support each other in that process. So whatever we can do to have people come and join, it's great. If people can attend the class and show up on Sunday, even better. I'm going to tell you, for me, when I took these classes years ago, Bill Tulliver said to me as a suggestion, he says, those of you who are truth students, he said, I would suggest in your living room you have a book, you like this, your dining room, your den, your bedroom, you have a lot of reminders around. So the things that I will read will be reminders. The people who I call friends will be there to support me in consciousness too. If I'm just having books around that are just, they're just something to amuse my time, or if I have friends around that are just going to agree with me, how am I going to, this created being that I am, how is that being going to propel and go forward in the world if everything around me is the same stuff that I've been thinking about for the past 20, 30 years? And how wise of me if I'm calling people that just agree with me all the time? It's kind of an uninteresting life you'd be living if that's what you're doing, and I don't know where you're going with it. See, this teaching challenges you to be something. in the world. It challenges you to be a great person, a noble person. It challenges you to get in touch with what you're really about so you can be that in the world. Most of us here are not kids anymore. Most of us here are mature adults. You know, hopefully we're not living just to have our own self taken care of, but we're living a noble purpose where we're attempting to live in a bigger way. We're smart enough not to be babysitting people's wants and needs. You know, you're here to be authentic and have a great life for yourself, but in having a great life for yourself, you know, you're really giving other people permission to have one too. If you're caretaking people, I would ask you why. You don't help people by caretaking them. You don't do for others what is theirs to do. It's one thing to be a supporting presence and a listening ear, but it's another thing to be doing a bunch of stuff for people that's theirs to do. And if that's your pattern, it's something to look at. From the Course in Miracles, a line that I've loved for at least 25 years, the peace of God is my one goal, my purpose, my function, and my life. So what we're here to have is peace and joy and creativity and creative self-expression. And our teachings suggest that we have the willingness to trade in lesser ideas as they come up for greater. I've had a week full of exciting challenges. I'm sure I'm not the only one. I mean, I know it's not unique to me. I dealt with one of my sisters day before yesterday. I don't even know what to think. I've been trying to deal with her for 50 some odd years. And somehow I must be insane because I think she's going to be different. And so in my mind, I come up with a whole new plan and way to deal with her and deal with her in such a way that I'm going to give her 10 times more than I would ever expect in return, and still she doesn't accept it. People are where they are. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still." If somebody's stuck like Chuck, or stuck like
Chuck.
Stop.
we're stuck on, I can't fix that. From Edwin Markham's beautiful poem, Outwitted, when someone's drawn a circle and drawn you out, it goes on to say, but with God and I, with a wit to win, we drew a larger circle and we drew them in. The notion is we understand this person who's acting like a whatever is doing the best that they can with the information, the understanding, and the awareness that they have. And I say, Jesus, unbelievable, right? It's where they are. Now, I have some of you I know well, and some of you are not here today. It's a holiday weekend, but you want to have them be, I can see the faces. You want them jailed and tried. You can do whatever you want to do. You can think whatever you want to think. It's not going to change them, right? Who's the person? Be ye transformed by the changing of whose mind? Okay, so the peace of God is my one goal, my purpose, my function, and my life. The way you achieve peace in your life is through your thinking and through your realization. Through your realization from this woman, Louise, hey, everybody's doing the best they can with what?
They have.
Amen.
Their mattress.
Yeah, they're doing the best they can with the information, understanding, and awareness that they have.
You have to be okay with that.
You don't have to be as smart as you are, right?
Well,
Because listen, here's the thing. If you understand, like people in 12-step programs get this part, they say recovery is an inside job. That means There's nobody nicer to be nicer to than you being nice to you. The work really is always going to be about you with you. When you really, really, really love yourself, this great lady would state, everything in your life begins to work. She isn't saying when you really, really love your husband better, your kids better, or you do more, that everything's going to get better. She said when you really, really, really love yourself. So it begins and ends where? So we were trained as kids, many of us, good little boys and girls, that we've got to go out and help the world. It's hungry and it's starving and there's not enough anything for anybody. And our rewards will come later, and offer it up, and just, it's a valley of tears and a tale of, we heard a lot of stuff. And offer it up, I used to get, offer it up. Your rewards will come later. Anybody buying any of that stuff? Anybody buying into what it is to be a good girl or a bad girl or a good person? Yeah,
I
bad.
have.
Bad. Okay, so you learned about sin, right?
Wow.
Yeah. Alan Cohen very delightfully says sin stands for S-I-N, self-imposed nonsense. Programming from the churches of our antiquity to keep people into a place. So you were incapable of sin, really, because you were always doing the best you could with what?
I didn't understand.
What you knew. And when you knew more, you did more. You did differently, at least. When you know more, you do it differently. When I was a young boy, I was out there being a good boy. I was following the rules. And I judged you all as being bad, and you're going to burn in hell, and this group's going to be this, and we're the Catholics, and the rest of you are all never going to make it anywhere because you weren't really the real thing. You're all sinners. We're right, you're wrong. What's wrong with that type of thinking? A lot, right? Nobody told me that I was born whole and perfect. Nobody ever told me that I was a wonderful child of God, born without sin. Did anybody ever tell you you're a wonderful child of God, born without sin? Any of you all get that message? Did anyone teach you that you were an inlet and outlet of God consciousness? The whole world is delighted in your being? That you're a great success just because you're here and alive and participating? Or were you taught that you had to do something to be good? Or that you had to do something to have value? Or were you taught those are successful people and this isn't, and you have to earn this to be that? Did you get a whole bunch of that stuff? You're going to be just like your father, your aunt, your brother. You're not as this, you're that. You're too pretty, you're too rich, you're too thin, you're too... Did you get any of that? So that's the programming of our youth. Louise Hay helps so much. She helped a generation. She wrote a book, You Can Heal Your Life. She was a practitioner in New York City. She studied the science of mind. In her study, she would come to realize, and she would teach, that everybody is doing the best that they can with the information, the understanding, the awareness that they have. And that's the message for all of us today. You've always been good. You've always done the best you could with what you knew. And some of you really will beat yourself up because you've made some pretty big mistakes in your life. And some of you carry that and you feel bad about yourself, and that's really too bad. Because the only thing that's holding anybody back in this room is the messages you tell yourself. Now this is a Sunday, this is a Labor Day weekend, and this could be the beginning of a whole new thing for you, if you want it to be. It's just like somebody coming through the rooms of recovery. They come in a place where they want something new. They want to get their life together. They really are sick and tired of being sick and tired. And in that new day, in that new moment, miracles can happen if they what?
They want it.
Yeah, they got a 1.
Wow.
This teaching can take you all the way. It can do everything in the world for you. But if you descend those stairs today with the same stuff you came up the stairs with, what a pity. Emma Curtis Hopkins stated, could have been Florence Scovel, should that we need to be guardians at the gate. Guardians at the gate of what? Our consciousness. See, you can in this moment today know that of the omnipresence, you can feel it in this room, you can sense it, you know God is alive in this room and these people, and I'm one with God, and you can know it, and you can know it, you can really know it. It can be the beginning of a great new life and a great new Sunday, great new everything. I am one with God right here, right now, and everything I see is God. You can know that. And if you descend those stairs, and you can go right into the them and us stuff real quick. If you're going to become guardian at the gate of your consciousness, then you really got to pay attention to what it is you're what?
Hearing, listening.
Yeah, what you're listening to, how you're listening to what you're hearing, and what you're telling yourself about what your moment-to-moment experience is. If I'm practicing the science of mind, I'm learning how to say cancel, cancel, and no, and no, and no. I'm learning how to say no to all my baloney. When you find yourself tripping about any person, place, or thing, or any fact of your life, I'll say that again. When you find yourself tripping about any person, place,